Hello everyone, I'm back with another video in Python. I hope you all are excited about everything that's in store. So let's get ready to start the fourth module of this course where we will learn about functions, modules and packages. In this video, however, we will mostly be dealing with functions. So what are functions? A function is a block of reusable code that performs a specific task. A function is defined using the def keyword followed by the function name and parenthesis, meaning first bracket. Syntax: def, function name, bracket open, parameters within brackets, bracket close, colon. Syntax is basically just the grammar or the rule of writing certain statements in the programming language. A function is called by the name and passing the required arguments. Syntax: function name, bracket open, arguments, bracket close. Here we do not have the colon at the end. So this is the rule for calling the function. We first create a function using def and then call it to use it in our code. Next we have parameters, arguments and return statements. Parameters. They are a part of the function definition and they act as placeholders for the values passed to the function when it is called. Parameters are just the variables defined within the brackets of the function definition. Arguments. These are the actual values that are passed to the function when calling it. These values are assigned to the corresponding parameters in the function definition. Return statements. They send back result to the caller and terminate the function. So when the return statement is executed, the function is terminated immediately. Also, return statements can be used in more ways than one. We can return multiple values. We can also use return statement with if and else, where a certain value is returned if a condition is satisfied. In some cases, we can even omit the return statement or include it with no value succeeding. So let's understand these with examples. So we have replit back here again. Let's say def calc area, meaning calculate area. L, B, standing for length and breadth. Colon was missed. Area equals L star B. Return area. This makes the end of the function. So we will not use indentation in the next line, like after we have typed return area, since this is outside the function. This is the block of the function, starting from the definition to the return statement. Now we come to the program after the function, which is outside the function. Result calc area 5, 6. Print result. So here 5 and 4 are the arguments, while the dummy variables of L and B, which stands for length and breadth, are the parameters. And also we are just returning a single value, which is the simplest form of return statement. Now for multiple values, you can think of a function that gives the coordinate of some place. So let's see. Coord, lat, latitude, and lon, longitude. Return lat, comma, lon. So we're done with the function. So let's just print chord. Suppose say latitude is 29 and longitude is 75. So here we are not assigning the value that the function gives us to any other variable. We are just directly printing it. Like we are not using anything called result here, which will store the value. We are just directly calling the function inside the print statement and printing it at the same time. Like this just saves time and like you have to write less code. So here it is. I'm going back. Next up we have default and keyword arguments. Default arguments. They take default values if no values are passed during the function call. Keyword arguments. They are used to specify the arguments by their parameter names. Now, keyword arguments, these are especially used to make the code more readable when we have multiple arguments. Now, let's see examples for these. Def, greet, name equals guest, colon. Guest here is a default value of the default argument name. Print So here we are using f strings. So this is the function definition. Let's invoke the function. Now, calling the function is also known as invoking the function. Greet world. Here we have used a user-defined argument world. Greet. Here we are calling without any argument, that is we are using the default value here. Now let's run the program. So first we get hello world. World takes the place of the default argument since we are explicitly giving the argument. While in next case, since we have not given any argument, we have hello guest. You can also see how we are omitting the return statement since we have no use for it here. Now for keyword arguments, let's say def pet name comma type. Print I have a type named name. Now we're done with the function definition. Let's call or invoke the function. Pet name equals cherry type equals mouse. Now you have to be careful with all the syntaxes. Every statement has a different and unique syntax. So you have to make sure you remember everything. Like you'll just get used to it once you compute for a certain amount of time, you just get used to these things. Like print is something you'll always use. Print and functions, like you'll use everywhere. So you'll eventually get used to it. So here we have it. Let's run the program. So I have a mouse named Jerry. Now I have made some, like, let's make it just more clear. Named space. Now this is just looks clear. So here the function call seems more clear since we are using the names of the arguments along with their values. So keyword arguments provide clarity when there are more than one parameters. Next we have scope and lifetime of variables. Scope is the region of the code where the variable can be accessed or modified. Lifetime is how long the variable exists during the program execution. Now these are of two types: global scope and lifetime. Global variables can be accessed anywhere in the program and they exist for the entire lifetime of the program. Local scope and lifetime. Now these variables have a scope inside the current function or method and they exist as long as the function is executing. Now this is actually pretty simple to understand. You can just find out which variables is local and which one is global by studying the structure of the program. Suppose here we have a variable. Suppose here we have x. X equals say 5. Then here we are defining a function. Here we have certain parameters. And this is the end of the function, say print. Here we have a second function. I hope my handwriting is clear. And then the end of the function. Now suppose we define a variable called y equals 4 inside the block of the second function. Now this is the block of the functions. This much is the block. So here y is defined within the block of function 2. So it is available only within the function. You cannot use it inside function 1 or anywhere in the main program. Suppose you have a main program here. Like suppose you are calling a function here and like using it. Suppose you have something else like some if statements or even for loops or anything. You cannot use y here or here in function 1. You can just use it inside function 2. By x here, this can be used anywhere. This can be used within the functions as well as in the main program. So here we have it. You can just understand by the structure of the program. And in case of Python, indentation is really important. Like you can understand from here that this and these, they are in the same line. So this is not inside this. Like x is not inside function or vice versa. In this case, like whatever we type inside the function, it is written in a indented form. Like you use tab to write it. Usually these days, wherever you code, the platform already tabs it for you. So this is how you can understand. Like you have to remember when you finish a function, you have to just cancel the tab part and come back here, this place. So yeah, it is very simple. You can just understand from the structure of the program. So we have come to the end of this video. So let's have a quick recap. We started off with functions. We also learned parameters, arguments, and return statements. Then we talked about default and keyword arguments. And finally, scope and lifetime. So this is the end of this video. The fourth module will be continued in the next video. From now on, I may break up the modules into different parts since I think that would give you guys enough time to get familiar with the topics. Like you have to get used to the things we have learned in one video before moving on to the other one. And as always, let me know if you have any questions about any of the lectures. Any kind of feedback is always welcomed. I hope the number of examples and explanations that I provide for each topic are adequate and not too difficult to understand. You can comment down anything you might have to say about that. Good luck to you and see you guys in the next video where we will be continuing the fourth module. Until then, bye bye.